Church has gotten a whole lot sexier. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. That is a sexy, hedonistic, Plato's retreat, den of iniquity place to be. What a fun club. I want to be part of that club. Do you get decoder rings in there? Do you have special secret codes, you know? What a cool, great thing. It's great, this wonderful secret society that they have, you know, where... Like if you're caught, you know, or accused of like molesting or raping children, then like you or I, obviously, because we're normal people, you know, we're not anointed by God. We would go to jail. Like if we did that, we'd all go to prison. But the priests, they don't go to prison. They get a much, much worse punishment. They get taken out of their parish from whence they were there, you know, molesting people, where people were molesting, and they're taken out of that parish, the safety and sanctity of that parish, and then they're moved to a completely new parish where it's, hello, fresh meat. You know, and the Pope is infallible. We're taught that. The Pope is infallible. Can't make a mistake. So I don't know why the fuck the Catholic Church just doesn't take that motherfucker to Vegas, you know? I fucking, you know, walk into the Tropicana and go, okay, put all the Catholic Church's money on 17 black, 32 red, I'm sorry. I don't think you heard the man. He said 17 black. Thank you. Let's go to Bellagio. Then they can pay off all their... Yeah, so what does the Pope have to say about what's happening here in America, the scandal where over 1,000 priests are being indicted? What does the Pope have to say? Well, the Pope said, okay, well, there you go. That's what we got for you. All right. So American Catholics, the Pope said, okay, good. That's good. That fucking incontinent, senile, fucking palsied motherfucker with Parkinson's disease is fucking making all these decisions. Yeah, that's good. That's good. He's a good man. Yeah, so they're God's representatives. So that's, you know, I mean, so that means, you know, that God fucks little boys. I mean, right? I mean, if you have 1,000 or so priests that we know of, just the ones we know about, on record as fucking little boys, and they're God's representatives, then that means God's a fucking boy fucker. And he has a big old dick, let me tell you. God has a big fucking cock. All right? Yeah. Maybe that explains why, maybe that gives an answer to all those grieving women who are, you know, holding on to their child's casket going, Lord God, why did you take him at such an early age? He was so innocent. Yeah, they're all up in heaven servicing the priests and God. Yeah, that's got to be it, right? I mean, that's an explanation. I mean, but it's those kids' fault. Come on. I mean, you know, it's there to blame. They're to share the blame is what I'm saying. They gotta know. You don't, come on. I mean, kids are so grown up nowadays. You know, seriously, you don't fucking walk into a confessional booth and you don't see scented candles and an empty box that says The Violator on it and not go, huh? Come on, I don't care if you're fucking 8 years old and innocent. Figure it out. They're the ones sitting there tempting the priests anyway. You know, the priests are sitting there and all these kids are sitting there with, you know, going like, you know, I'm sorry, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. How do you not fuck that? How do you not fuck that? You'd do the same thing if you were in a confessional booth and you weren't allowed to have any sex for the rest of your life. They're being tempted, like, come on. They're sitting there with that fucking innocent batting eyes and that sweetness and that gee shucks, golly, I don't know what I'm doing with that fucking tight pink virgin asshole, you know, staring that priest. He knows what's in there. He knows what's right beyond here. That shit's made of pressboard, man. That's you can break right through there. God made it. God made that fucking perfect ruby starfruit. Don't tell me. Do not tell me. But clearly the answer is forced prayer in school. All right. I want to read to you guys from this book that I got. It's called 7 Promises of a Promise Keeper. And, oh, you guys know Promise Keepers? Oh, they're awesome. It's awesome. But if you don't know who the Promise Keepers are, the Promise Keepers are a group of Christian men who keep promises. And really what the book is about how to best subjugate women, you know, but in a cool, hip way, you know, for today's modern era. From when I read stories from here, this is not about like making fun of religion or Christianity or anything like that. Why I'm reading them, and it's important, is to just show how these guys are liars. You know, and it's like any fucking preacher or anybody, you know, who any denomination, doesn't matter if they're a rabbi or cleric, you know, when they tell their sermons, you know, and they do one every week and they run out of material pretty quickly, you know. And they got to fucking force in that Isaiah 4:13 in there, you know, and so they've all got this bullshit story about, you know, last Wednesday I was at the mall with my young niece and some of her skateboarding friends. And like, all right. You know, it's bullshit, you know, like he made something up about hey father, I'm a skateboarder and stuff, and I love crazy punk music, but is there a place in heaven for me? You know, whatever, you know, it's just crap. It's lies. It's just like any politician with this fake story about people you'll never see. You know, I was in Flint, Michigan last week, and a young lady came up to me and said, Senator, because of your opponent's policies, I could not afford Christmas dinner, and I was forced to eat my own eyeballs. Well, we're going to get, you know, it's bullshit. That's my point, whatever. It's just a made-up bullshit story. You know, honestly, I've read large parts of the Bible. I'm fascinated by it. Almost obsessed, you might say, by that and Scientology. That's a whole other story. But, you know, I'm obsessed and fascinated with all that shit. And as I said, I've read large parts of the Bible. And I will say, honestly, that the Bible truly is one of the funniest books I've ever read. It's fucking funny. It's so fucking funny. I mean, right out of the gate, it's funny. I mean, just the first 6 pages. I mean, that shit is like, that's the most D&D bullshit crazy shit. Like, and then the all-powerful thing swooped down and sent a plague of frogs upon all the heathens. Like, what? What are you doing? Let's give them more powers. Let's roll the die. And then he was dead for 3 days and rose up to heaven. If you know the history of the Bible and how and just its entire massive history and how it was written in these dead languages and then translated and then retranslated into other languages and then retranslated by monarchs based on their whims and, you know, and all this shit, and then people interpret it in their own way, and you sit there and you still, after all that shit, and realize that the Bible was written thousands of years ago when people were even dumber than we are today. Think about that. Think about that. If I can go home, watch Fox TV, and realize that, wow, the Bible is written by people even dumber than all these motherfuckers. That's the Bible you're reading and has been read to you for generations. You know, that, I mean, it's insane. It's absurd to believe in that shit. All right, first of all, forget that. Let's just look at Genesis. Right off the bat, I swear to God, the funniest 6 pages in literary history. God, this all-powerful God, decides he's going to make Earth. It takes him 6 days to make Earth. There's all kinds of other crazy shit going on. And then he rests on the 7th day because he's exhausted. Woo! Man! Those rivers took a lot out of me. It's fucking God. God gets tired. God needs a nap. This isn't the God I was made to understand exists and fucking rules all our lives. God gets tired after 6 days. Oh, man, I gotta crash before I get up and do, I don't know, whatever I'm gonna do. Then he makes this huge planet. Huge, massive planet. Takes him 6 fucking days. It's huge. And then he decides, you know what? I'm gonna put one dude in there.